Thanks for tuning in on this one. We're going to show you how to maneuver around inside the Instructor software. So what we've done is we've set up a dummy instructor. He's not that dumb, he's quite smart, but his name is Joe Instructor. So if I click on Joe, we can see his profile and things like that. He can log out there, and I'll talk about this in a minute. He can switch to student, manage his profile, and things like that. So the first page that you're going to see when you log in as an instructor is this page here. And this is the page where you're going to be managing your students. So the first thing you'll notice is down here, My Students, and there's a table down here. Probably it's going to be empty when you first log in and get started up because you haven't got any students. So the first thing you're going to do is get from your student their email address, their NauticEd registered email address, and their logbook code. And it's really important for you to understand what the logbook code is. That's a code that they make up and they enter it into their profile, and then they give that to you. And that's kind of a secret logbook code that they can use to keep their resume secret, but also it's one they give to you so that you can start to manage their practical competence verification. So we're going to just put in a dummy student here. We've already got it in right here, and I'm going to just re-enter her so that you can see. So I'm going to take her out of my list of students. So now she's gone, and we're going to enter Jill back in again. So her email address is jill39@sailor.co.nz, and her logbook code is Jill's code. So we're just going to enter that in here, and now she's going to appear down on this table right here. There you go. So you'll notice now that Jill has appeared in this table here, and you can go ahead and start to manage Jill and Bill and any other student that you have, Joseph Sailor here. So I'm just going to run over here on the right hand side, and you can start to see what's going on over here just to navigate around. So My Students, that always brings up this page. So if you want to come to this page, just click on My Students. How to be a NauticEd instructor, probably you've already clicked on that because it's going to have this video in this page, and it's going to talk about, there's a video here, Instructor Introduction to NauticEd, Getting Started. That sort of talks about our philosophy and what we want you as an instructor to think about in terms of taking out a student. And here's all the documents for qualifying a student for qualified crew or skipper, bareboat charter master, and skipper small boat. So those documents there, and a little bit of information here, certainly about grading students and things like that you should read. So that's that. Take my courses. Now, so you're an instructor, but what we want you to do is to be able to qualify yourself as an instructor by taking the NauticEd classes. And the NauticEd classes to you as an instructor are free. When you click on this button here, Take My Courses, that's going to turn you into a student. And so when you do that, here comes up the student page, and there's curriculum, your logbook, any badges that you have, your sailing resume, gifts, how to get free courses, and how NauticEd works. And I really encourage you to go through this button here, How NauticEd Works, because that's a bunch of videos that the students are going to see on how to manage their resume, how to manage their logbook, how to take classes, their badges, what that means. It gives them a really good introduction. If somebody's asking really basic questions about how NauticEd works, more than likely they haven't clicked on this button, and so you should be encouraging people to go through how NauticEd works. So here is your curriculum, and that's where all your courses are going to be. So click on that, and all your courses are going to come up. Some of them you will have taken, some you won't have completed. Here's incomplete classes, past classes. So you can just toggle backwards and forwards from there. And what's going to happen is you are going to be clicking on my NauticEd up here. That takes me back to the home page. We're going to expect you to have a student experience. One, in terms of taking the classes and getting through those, and two, logging your time into the NauticEd logbook, into the cloud-based logbook. And remember, what we do very well with NauticEd is that we match a practical experience versus the theory courses that they've taken, and then we grow the person's rank, grow the student's rank based on their logbook. And so you can see what I've done here is Joe Instructor. Joe is a skipper. He's made 100% all the way to skipper. He's made it 100% all the way to bareboat chartermaster. And he's 80% of the way there to captain. And that means he just hasn't finished the captain's courses. And then leveling is to do with how much time that you've logged in your logbook on boats of specific sizes and things, and there's lots of rules around that which are explained as you go through NauticEd. But level 4 is where you need to be as an instructor, and so we're not going to sign you off as an instructor until you've got the level 4, and that's 100 days that you've logged into your logbook. And I want to point out this little link here, learn how to do 100 entries in 20 minutes. So it's really important that you read that, because you're going to sit there and say, well, 100 days, that's going to take me forever to log that. No, it's really simple. So just read that and you'll go through. You'll be able to log maybe 100 entries in 20 minutes, maybe a little bit more, but certainly you can do it inside an hour. So that's not a problem. Okay, so that's a student. You notice that Joe Instructor, he's a bareboat chartermaster, and that's because he has taken the bareboat chartermaster courses and he's level 4, and that's because he's logged at least 100 days. So now Joe, the instructor, he can switch back to instructor, so right here. So he's switching back to instructor. Joe can now sign students off to the bareboat chartermaster level because Joe Instructor is a bareboat chartermaster instructor himself. And you can see that down here on the right hand side. Your instructor status is level 4, bareboat chartermaster rank. He's the chief instructor for the school. And so he can sign people off to the bareboat chartermaster level. All right, so if you're only a skipper instructor, then you can only sign people off at the skipper level. If you're a captain, you can sign them off at the captain level. If you're a skipper small boat, you can only sign people off at skipper small boat. So we really expect you to take those classes, and we're not going to qualify you as an instructor until you've taken those classes, and that's fair enough. You've got to be able to experience what the student's experiencing, be able to answer their questions, because they're going to have questions based on the courses. And if you've been through those and logged the time, then you're going to know how it all works, and you're going to come off as a master yourself. So let's just take a look. Anytime you see one of these little boxes here, a question mark box, just click on it and read it, and you can figure out what's going on there. So let's take a look at Joseph Saylor. So you'll notice we've got a little box here that we can say, okay, we're going to take him out and we're going to teach him. He's already signed up for Saturday the 15th of October, and he's going to be seeking a bareboat chartermaster competence rank. All right, practical competence rank of bareboat chartermaster. Now, here's a cool little tool. You can email Joseph Saylor right there. If you click that button, that's going to send him an email, and it's going to say, Joseph, just make sure that you've passed all the bareboat chartermaster courses before you come out. It's going to really enhance your practical sailing experience on the boat. Now, you also notice, you can see right here that Joseph Saylor has already passed the theory rank for bareboat chartermaster. But if you're perhaps taking Bill out and signing him up for bareboat chartermaster on that same day, then you might start to think, well, he hasn't passed the courses, so we're going to pop him this email, and he's going to be able to pass those courses before he comes out. Now, it's not a requirement, but certainly if he hasn't passed them, then he's going to be slowing Joseph Saylor down. Looks like his brother, maybe his younger brother, so Bill can get away with it. But certainly that's going to make a big difference for that boat, that entire teaching experience that day. All right, so you can use that button there twice, and you can follow up with them and say, you know, really expecting you to finish those courses before you come out. All right, and you can see Bill is already, he's been qualified as a crew member, competence ability. Joseph's been qualified already as a skipper, but on this day, we're going to try and qualify both of them as a bareboat chartermaster. Now, let's click on just one of these students and I'm going to show you something. So we're going to click on Bill now. And up comes Bill's page, and this is everything about Bill. So he lives in Austin, Texas. We can send him an email if you want. He is theory and logbook qualified to the rank of skipper level 1. Level 1, he's only logged 10 days. He doesn't have that much experience. He's been taken out by another instructor, looks like me, Joe instructor, and he's been qualified to crew member. And we can take a look at his resume. So let's have a look at his resume. Will pop up and we can actually look at his sailing experience. We get an idea of what size boats that he's been on, power boats, operational experience, has he been out, and you're probably quite familiar with this resume by this time if you've gone through everything. So we can just exit out of no changes. We can see the courses that he's passed here. We can see any courses that he's got in progress. And we can do this here. We can upgrade Bill to upgrade his practical competence ability. So let's click on that. It's going to drop this down, read all the stuff here. But right now, this green box, this is where he already is, his crew. And we're going to be upgrading him eventually to bareboat charter master. But let's say that next weekend we were going to take him out for a skipper. And so you might check after you've come back, you've taken Bill out, you deem him practically competent, you're going to check on skipper. Now, this is a really neat little button here. It's called provisional restriction. And what that does is, let's say Bill goes out, and you know what, technically he really passes, but he's not that confident or competent, but he can get by. And you're confident yourself that he can get by, but he really needs to return back in 2 or 3 weeks and get this provisional restriction taken off. So for right now, you can sign him off skipper and provisional restriction, and you can go ahead and hit submit down there. And that way you're going to tell Bill, Bill, I really need you to spend some time practicing docking because you're really weak on that. So right down here, in this box here, you'll see these instructor private notes, instructor student notes, and instructor resume notes. And these are really important. So you can make notes to yourself about Bill's maneuvering is weak. And you can actually make some notes in here. Bill, you know, I want you to dock the boat a dozen times. Then let's get back together. All right, that's going to promote that note to Bill. He's going to be able to see that. It's going to pop to his resume, but it's going to be a private note on his resume only, and no other people looking at his resume are going to be able to see that. So Bill's the only guy that's going to see that note. And this is for instructor resume note. So this is where you're going to show extreme competence in something. It's going on his public resume, so you're not going to put anything negative on there, but you might put a provisional restriction on there. So you might say, Bill was extremely competent at tacking and jibing and managing the boat under sail. We've put in a provisional restriction so that he practices his maneuvering. Use clear and professional language. Up here, this is really good though, this instructor private notes, because that can be notes that you can talk to other instructors as well. So let's say another instructor is going out. So you might say, Bill learns best by doing it rather than being told. All right, now, Bill's not going to see that note, but that's a really good note that you can send to other instructors. All right, and you can hit submit on that, and that's going to bring Bill back. Now, here's something that's really powerful, and it just speaks to the profitability of your school and also growing the student's resume in a really structured way that they appreciate. So you're going to pull up Bill again, and here is add practical competence endorsements. And this is fantastic. What this is these are specific workshops that your school can offer, And a lot of times it might be just in the office doing some training, or it might be actually out on the water training, and it's a specific workshop around that specific skill. So it's not as though you just took Bill out for a night sailing and and he did all right and you come back and you sign him off. No, this is a specific workshop that you're going to charge for. You might charge $100, $200, $300, whatever it is in terms of the skill and the time and the boats and things like that you're offering. So you're going to check off on Bill. We took him out on this workshop, night sailing workshop, and he is competent and he's passed that workshop. So right here is going to be all of these. Down here will have a little question mark next to it, and you'll be able to click on that. And especially for this night sailing, this is an extreme, extensive classroom workshop for on the water experience training, at least 2 hours in the classroom, followed by 4 hours sailing at night. Students should fully experience navigation lights and other lighted boat traffic and be able to make correct identifications of each type. The student should be able to make plots of position and plots of direction and navigate the dark waterway. So again, that is a specific class. And again, if your school is offering all of these classes here, that's a dozen or so classes that you're able to offer to the student at $100 or $200 each. And so instead of just getting a weekend warrior a basic keelboat class for a student, now you're starting to really offer extra classes that all of these are promoting right onto the student's resume. And that's going to be absolutely fantastic for the student to grow his resume and feel confident that your school is offering all the things he needs to be learning. So you're going to be able to use this tool to really increase the profitability of your school, but at the same time, you're really serving Bill and the students to grow what they need to do and grow under a really structured manner. All right, so I think that's probably pretty much it. Just go back over here, let's take a look at reviews. So click on this button, and here is the reviews. So what you'll see here is we took Bill out, we just marked him right now as practical competence of skipper rank. So when Bill logs in, he's going to get that notification that he's been upgraded to skipper, but he's also going to be asked to rank and rate your teaching ability. So he's going to rate you 1 through 5 stars. And so what will happen, that will actually show up right there. And if after, say, 2 or 3 weeks that Bill hasn't rated you, you're going to send him a reminder. You just click that, and that's going to send him an email and say, hey, Bill, do you mind rating me? And that's going to rate your teaching ability, and you'll be able to see that on the web page that's on the NauticEd site. That'll come up, and it'll also come up on your public visible profile. So make sure you're getting these resumes, these reviews done, because that will also speak to your rating as an instructor, and it's your global rating with all other instructors for NauticEd. So it's just sort of social proof, and it'll actually increase the number of students that are asking specifically for you to take them out because you're getting good ratings. Over here is my public visible profile. So this is what is promoted on the NauticEd site about you specifically. So Joe Instructor, the NauticEd credentials is level 4 bareboat chartermaster rank chief instructor. He's also an ICC preparatory instructor. Talk about that later on another video. Other credentials, US Coast Guard 100-ton master, his email address, his phone number, and this is here is my personal comment and commitment to you, and this is what's listed in your profile as we call it the sales pitch. So right here, spend some really good time crafting this, because students read it and they're going to make a decision whether to go out with you based on what you've said here. All right. Okay, so let's go back, and this is your private profile, so this is where you fill it out. Make sure you upload a really nice and professional photograph of yourself, upload from computer or another place on the internet, and then down here was your sales pitch that we talked about. save changes, and that's it. So here's your login data. Here's your login ID, your password, you can change that there. And this is the school that you associate yourself with. So Joe Instructor is associated with NauticEd Austin Sailing School, and that can be changed as well by doing drop down here. All right, so that's a quick run through on the software. I really encourage you to play with it. Specifically, if you're just getting started with us, you need to take the NauticEd classes and start logging time in your logbook so that you can become qualified. If you're starting out with us right now, you're listed as an intern instructor, and you won't be able to grade any students until you've reached a rank and you've entered 100 days into your logbook, and that will make you a level 4 skipper rank or bareboat charter master rank, qualified instructor. But it also will require a call from the principal of your school to call us and say, okay, we now deem Joe Instructor to be qualified, and at that point we will turn your profile on. I hope that's been really helpful to you, and always, if you've got any questions, just feel to call us, but have a play with the software. I think you'll really enjoy it, and I think students are really enjoying the way that we're putting this together in terms of helping them build a theory and practical integrated resume that really speaks to their goals and where they want to go. Thanks very much. Bye.